Sports Network. The show brings the temperature of sports to a whole new level. Whether it's a local opinion or a national agenda, everything is fair game. Remember, everyone has an opinion, but only few can back it up. Now sit back, crank up the volume, and if you think you can handle it, get ready for the heat.
Oh, wow. That was like really delayed. Like, I was like, all right, where's the countdown? I don't know what happened there. It just doesn't like that video. I don't know what's going on with that. But, if you haven't realized, we are live here, Heat Ratio Live. Philadelphia Eagles Week 3 reaction show. Man, we got the quad box going tonight. It's like Scott Hansen, NFL Red Zone here. We got Al, we got Nick, we got Dave, we got Tony. Man, a huge week, man. Huge week. And again, Al is really playing up to the 2-minute warning. He needs to change the smoke detector batteries when we play into this. So this is like the FYI. This is smoke safety on Heat Ratio Live right here. But listen, boys, big win. I mean, look, this is just going to be a flat out. Let's just react. Let's talk about it. A lot of things happen in this game. Again, I don't see anybody that I am afraid of in the NFC. And I'm going to ask you just right off the bat, man, because look, we know the drill. We know Jalen Hurts is for real right now. We know his offense is clicking for now. We do got to talk about, again, no second half points again. So that could be a concern when we play good teams. So we have to really look at that. Carson Wentz sacked 9 times, which was fantastic. Al was calling about the sack train. Hassan Reddick got on there. BG got on there. Fletcher Cox got on there. A lot of sweat Cox, no pun intended. But Dave, it's been a while since you've been on here, buddy. How you doing, man?
Man, doing great. And you know what? Every time we win, and we win in fashion like that, especially against an arch enemy like Carson Wentz, I'm super pumped. I don't care if it's
arch enemy.
It doesn't matter. We look dominant. We look the part. Tone, you said it earlier, you're not scared of anyone in the NFC. I'm with you. I mean, you respect the Green Bays, the Tampa Bays, the Los Angeles Rams. Not much else behind that. And guess what? They're going to all be coming here because I just see this path just blazing forward here. And this isn't like – I'm not blowing smoke up people's. I'm usually kind of right in the middle, optimistic, pessimistic. This team's good. I predicted 12. It's 13. Like you're starting to see a path for home field advantage, and it's exciting.
It is, man. Listen, I was talking 11, 12. I thought that was crazy. But, Nick, what do you see here? Are we overblowing the excitement here, or is it justified?
Well, no, we're not overblowing the excitement. It is 100% completely justified. What I would like to say is maybe we just kind of temper things a little bit. And because you know what happens, Tone, that you get that one game that's going to happen probably within the next 3 weeks where they don't come out to play and you lose a game that you were supposed to win. And all of a sudden, the questions start to arise. I agree with you both on as far as the NFC. This is not a year where you have to worry about a strong Tampa Bay team. This is not a year where you have to worry about what the Rams were last season where they caught lightning in a bottle. So, at the end of the day, if they do what they're supposed to do and continuously week in, week out, play offensively, play defensively, play special teams, coach the way they've been, all of this has been happening the first 3 weeks. Yes, we are going to be talking about home field advantage throughout. But, I'm not one of those guys that just likes to talk Super Bowl right out of the gate. And believe me, I'm super excited about it. But I think we just all this fan base needs to enjoy the ride here because we have something special brewing right now. And I mean, there's still a long way to go, guys. It's September 27th. It is September 27th right now, So, I mean, Tony, some of the things we talk about after the first game against Detroit, the adjustments, they're all being made right now. So, if this team is able to make adjustments, even when they come across a little bit of adversity, this is going to be a special season.
I feel it, man. I feel it. I know it's not easy to hold those tempered expectations in, but when you see these big wins and you see all these stats and you see the national points out there, and again, Emmanuel Acho, really? Like, I don't even want to get into it, but I guess
I seen what he posted.
Yeah, he needs clicks or something. But Al, how you feeling about this?
I'm feeling good. I was right on the nose again with the sacks, except for it just went crazy. I said 3.5. It was 9. But I'm feeling good. I just have a 1 week at a time attitude right now. I'm just going to take it one game at a time. And obviously, some things are going to happen. He's on the money with everything right now. Maybe a guy jumps in front of Smith on that bomb at the end zone instead of Smith catching it. So everything's going right now. What I want to see how we react when things don't go right. Maybe he gets a strip. Maybe somebody fumbles. Maybe a kickoff return or that punt return that bounced off the ground and went right back to what's the kid's name?
Covey.
It bounced right back up in his hands. Maybe it doesn't. I want to see some things happen, and I want to see how I react to it. So the rest of the season to me, because obviously I think we're going to be good, but the rest of the season to me are tests down the line. What can we handle? How we're going to react to it? Because I have no doubt that we're good. It's just going to be, can we handle all of the things that's going to come with the season? Again, like you said, it's only been 3 games. So let's go week by week and see what's going to happen week by week. But, that was beautiful last week. Beautiful.
Yeah.
And of course, in that dumpster fire with Washington, oh, my God, that place is the worst stadium in the NFL. I've been there quite a few times, and it gets worse and worse every time I go.
Big presence there too, man. Philly
Yes.
Sports Trips had a huge presence there. Lot of Eagles green going there, taking over the stadium.
12 to something like 12,000, 1,200, 2,000, somewhere in there, and like 20 buses or something like that. Like it was crazy down there.
Yeah, there was a lot there, but here's the thing, man. You know, when we went to the Super Bowl, you know, we started that run late. It didn't start out like this, right? That year didn't start out like this, but this year, it's starting out like this. And again, like, you know, everything just is leading us to that peak. And again, our boy Bill checking in says, way too soon, not scoring points in the second half. Team will play better later in the season, and we need to be more consistent. See, here's where I'm going to be different, man. You know, it's screw it all. Like, I'm all in, man. Like, I'm looking to Phoenix. I'm looking at or Arizona. I'm ready, because I look at this NFC, and no matter how inconsistent we are in the second half, no matter how much things are going our way, they stink. The NFC stinks. Nobody there. Nobody.
That game last night, I was just laughing.
Nobody there.
I was just laughing like we would smoke both of these teams.
Go down the list, please.
Yeah.
Go down the list and go through every team. There's nobody there that can even hold a candle to the way we're playing right now. So, listen, I mean, say what you want, call it irresponsible, call it crazy, but I'm all in, man. That this team, the only thing would be health, in my opinion, Dave. My thing is, if we can stay healthy, and bro, speaking of health, man, I know everybody wants to kill him, but let's shot out the 40-plus-year-old Jason Peters getting it done last night. I don't care. Like, I was always a JP guy. You can say whatever you want, but dude was sitting home on his recliner, and he came in and he played better than 90% of the left tackles in the friggin' league, and he was still getting it done last night. So shout out to him, because I love seeing those kind of stories.
Yeah, he played guard. It was a nice block.
He's fantastic.
So you just made me want to throw up seeing him in that uniform. Yeah. That's the only problem. Right. Any other team except for them.
I think you hit it on the nose, the injury part. And the reason we are all, we're Philadelphia, so we're guarded. But I am more like you, Tony. I'm going to enjoy this ride because I've won a Super Bowl. I want to get on this train, and I want to sit here and be that leader and plow these teams down and be that dog. And I think we can be. So I'm going to enjoy it, and I'm going to bring it all in. But you're right. Injuries is the one thing. And if we look back to – did we lose Tony? Oh, there he is.
It looked like he's popping.
Yeah.
Rotation.
But remember, the biggest injury happened that year to the biggest position, quarterback, right? Carson Wentz went down. We thought our season was over. So there will always be that in the back of our heads. And you're right. Look, by me saying number 1 seed, by me saying, teams are coming here, doesn't mean I'm saying Super Bowl yet. I'm just saying that we are projected to really good position. We're favored in every game going out. I mean, things could change. That game in Indy's like a pick 'em. The one in Dallas could be a pick 'em, but they're primed for a big season.
Yeah, they really are, man. I mean, they are absolutely primed for a big season, and what they've been doing, you know, and you mentioned it earlier about adjustments. Nick said, I mean, they're making these adjustments every single week, right? Yo, Al, I'm telling you, look, they already got him. My man Rick's all on you already. Change the batteries in that damn smoke alarm. Just throwing it out there. This is fire alarm safety week right here for Heat Ratio Live. All right, so we're just trying to show everybody the beep means you need to change your battery. So, you know, 100%. But look, you know what? We can rehash this whole game. We know what happened. They came, they saw, they conquered. We already know the issues. But let's go one up, man. We're going to Jacksonville. Let's just look right to Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Number one, before we even look at the Eagles versus Jacksonville, Nick, what I could say is I'm not surprised at the way Doug Peterson has just turned his team around, only because he just breathes confidence in his team. He's a likable coach. These players had a horrific year with Urban Meyer, what a dirtbag he was and what he did, and completely destroyed the whole entire locker room right there. And they needed a guy like Doug P. So, Nick, number one, are you surprised? And number two, like, let's just talk about, for instance, or for example, Trevor Lawrence for a little bit. I mean, do you believe this kid is legit because he's really playing like it?
I mean, I was a believer in him coming out of Clemson. And you know, so for the most part, I am not surprised in what I'm seeing out of him. You know, it was, I think it was a tale of two QBs, obviously, with him and Burrow coming out. And, you know, everybody had their opinions on which one would kind of set the bar and which one would trail behind a little bit. But Dougie P going in there is really going to change his trajectory a lot. And you can see it already has started to do that. And I am a little bit surprised, Tone, to see the way they played these last 2 weeks, especially this past weekend. I mean, they look really, really good. I mean, they're well coached. Offensively, they look great. I mean, they made the signing with Kirk in the offseason. You know, he's got some weapons now. Lawrence does. And defensively, they're still very, very, very solid. So, you know, this is one of those games we just talked about. You know, what does Monday morning look like? You know, in a, 24-23 loss to Jacksonville. You know, I'm not saying that's going to happen. And believe me, guys, Dave, I'm with all of you guys on enjoy it, enjoy the run, all that. But there is going to be some adversity. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's just going to happen. You know, the best of the best are going to face situations where they weren't expecting, or they weren't prepared, or they got let down, or whatever the case may be, the injuries, whatever it is. And then how do you bounce back with that? How does this fan base bounce back with that? And I believe we'll all bounce back just fine. I'm not really that concerned about it. But I don't think the NFC is as much as a laydown as everybody thinks it is. I still think you've got teams in this conference that on any given day in the playoffs, assuming, at some, hopefully we're at home. So that changes a lot in Philadelphia. I mean, that crowd on Monday night when I was there for the Minnesota game was absolutely insane. It was so loud. The players couldn't hear anything on the field. I mean, when that happens and you win to the point where you gain that home field advantage, that's going to change everything. I mean, our chances are still going to continue to go up the more and more, we stay that number one seed through all. But I'm going to throw something out there. When does Dak Prescott come back? And is Dallas that much of a different team if they can manage to be, I mean, what is he, like 6-7 games? Is that how long he is out for? I mean, if they're 5-2, if they're 6-3 when he comes back, that's a scary ball team going into the end of the year and into the playoffs. And again, I would not discount Green Bay. I know, Rodgers has lost all his weapons. He played lights out against Tom Brady and the Bucs over the weekend. And again, I'm last year the Rams were my pick going into the year. I caught that in a feeling in last August. And I don't think that you can kill that team just yet, because I know we're not all on Stafford's bandwagon, but I mean, McVay is a hell of a coach. That defense is still ridiculously wicked. And they've got some weapons that can carry, the Rams into a situation where they still could possibly be home field throughout. So let's enjoy it. I agree. I totally agree.
No, listen, man, I think you make some valid points. I mean, I always forget about the Rams, only because, we always talk about the Super Bowl hangover, and we think about game one, and they do lose guys like Von Miller, but they're still a very vaulted defense, and they still have the weaponry, to be able to do whatever they want at any given time. So yes, you are right, Nick. You do have the Rams, and listen, I like Aaron Rodgers. I just don't think that's a complete team right now. And I think, like, overall, yes, I'm enjoying this, but Dave, I think that we have the most complete team. I'm saying NFC, but there's some national pundits out there they're already saying NFL, which I think that's a little getting a little too carried away, in my opinion, right? I think they all want to jump on his bandwagon, which is fine. They want to jump on it, but don't be jumping off right away like all the Jalen Hurts flip floppers in the town of Philadelphia, all those little podcasters that go back and forth to get their clickbait. But my point is, Nick made a good point about Jacksonville, right? So Doug comes in here, Dave, and he knows his team, kind of knows their tendencies a little bit. It does feel like this could be a big test. Listen, they went into Chargerville, a very, very good Chargers defense, and they just completely obliterated them at every end of the game. I mean, Trevor Lawrence just went in there like, Chargers, what? Who? And Dougie P just was like, now we got this. And they have some playmakers, Dave. We talked about that. And, should we be concerned, or, do you think too many people are looking past Jacksonville?
No, I mean, there is some concern just based upon their two recent victories. Even go back 2 weeks to the one against the Colts, dominating 24-0. We have to take this opponent seriously, and we have to be ready to play this game. And it could be one of those where, with the wrong attitude and the wrong mentality coming in, we could get trapped, and it could be one of those, letdowns. But I don't see it that way. What I see coming into the town is a team that is on a little bit of roll, but they played a Matt Ryan that's, let's be honest, he's worse than Carson Wentz. And then, I'm just saying that from a Colts perspective, he's bad. And then I look at, Justin Herbert, that rib cartilage injury is terrible for them. Yes Jacksonville shredded that defense, but so let's go back to the one quarterback they played that was healthy and decent, or just okay. Wentz goes for 305 against them, 4 touchdowns. So I think there's a chance to beat this team through the air. We've shown we can do it. We can win on the ground. We can win through the air. I think the Eagles will be focused. I think because Dougie P is coming back, it gives us a little bit more added motivation like we had last week with Carson. The slip-up games, I think, are going to be later. I think they're going to be ready for this one. And yes, we respect Jacksonville, but in the same breath, I really like the Eagles in this one.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, I really do. And Al, you heard Nick talk about Dallas, and we watched the Dallas Cowboys and the New York Giants play last night, and it kind of was like, back and forth, man. Like, you would think like, okay, are they going to take that next step? And this is Cooper Rush at quarterback, so for them to even be able to come out and be able to win a game, I think is pretty telltaling, right? Because I'm not a big Mike McCarthy guy, but if he can get this team to just be serviceable until I almost call him Zach, until Dak Prescott comes back, I really feel like, Nick is onto something a little bit. I think that they are put it this way, to me, they're the closest competition. We don't worry about the Giants. We don't worry about the Commanders, right? But Al, is that the closest we have?
Yeah, I agree with it that they're the closest to us. The only person in the division that I even would think about worrying about at this point. But I seen what I need to know about Dallas on the first game of the season. Is nothing. Dak isn't going to turn into Aaron Rodgers. So I'm not scared of them. I know what you got coming off the edge. DeMarcus Lawrence had the game of his life last night. Before that, they showed the stats. He had like 14 sacks in 3 years. Like, I'm not worrying about him. You know who you got to worry about on the other side, and that's who you got to worry about. And we take care of him, and we're going to be okay and do the things that we need to do. So I'm not worrying about it. And I want what's the name to be trying to take chances the way he took chances last night. He's going to get bombed on all day. And I'm not worrying about him. So I'm not concerned with Dallas as far as the division, as far as there being a comp. Yes, but not as far as they're going to overthrow us or I have to worry about them being a person that's going to be a competition to win the division. Whether they make the playoffs, I could really care less. I'm worrying about the other people in the NFC, but not them, not so much. We need to just take control. We need to control our own destiny all year, and we'll be fine. And stay away from these injuries, like you guys said earlier. Stay away from the injuries, hopefully, and we'll be fine. But Dallas, I'm not worrying about.
Yeah,
Hey,
I'm not worried about that. Go ahead, Dave. What's up?
Let me ask you something, because I think this is really a possibility. Nick said it earlier. If Dallas is 5-2 with Cooper Rush, does Dak Prescott get the job back?
Stop it. Of course he does. Stop it. Isn't he making like $40 million this year?
Yeah, but guess what?
I'm just not so
Yo,
sure.
Zeke's making a lot of money too. They could put Tony Pollard in there.
Man.
It ain't happening. He loves Jones. He could be his second. He's one of his sons. He loves Dak, and he's going to play. Matter of fact, I thought I heard last night on Twitter somewhere he said it's a possibility he might even play next week, which I doubt very seriously.
Wait a minute.
But he threw that out there because the stitches are already out already. The stitches are out, and he was on the field throwing the ball.
But none of that matters, right? So let's think about this, because we had the same situation in Philadelphia, and Carson Wentz was a $20 million quarterback who got benched. So let's say it ain't.
But again, what point were we at that point? We were like 2-4, 2-5, 2-6, somewhere in that ballpark at that point. We're only 3 games in. Is even
Tommy Maddox got benched for Ben Roethlisberger.
If it's 5 games in, that's not happening. I can't see any way that happened.
Well, I'll be honest with you, man. I think that.
I mean, I would love for it to happen.
Mike McCarthy is crazy enough for it to happen, I think Jerry Jones.
But Tone
wants to win, man.
You know goddamn well it ain't his decision. You know it'd be Jones' decision who's going to play.
But he wants to win. He wants to put people in the seats, man. Like, at the end of the day, he understands how bad it is right now. He put a ton of money into that team, and they look like hot garbage last year, right? So if he sees a glimmer of hope, no matter whether it be me, you, Nick, Dave, whoever throwing a quarterback, doesn't matter. I mean, you know what's weird? It just seems to me that team has got some kind of, I don't want to say mental issue, but I just think that there's a locker room issue on that team. And I'm not sure who it is or what it is, but when other players come in, they play better. Like Tony Pollard, the offense goes better with Tony Pollard than it does with Zeke. The offense is flowing now. Listen, in week 1 under Dak, they look like garbage.
Yeah, but hold on. I heard something last night that makes perfect sense, but they don't do it when Dak is in the game. They were almost 50-50 run pass last night. That makes sense when you got Pollard and what's the name? But they don't do it when Dax is in the game. They just let him throw 40 times a game and barely run it.
Well, you can't throw against Tampa. I mean, they did it last year against Tampa. You can't take that. Tampa, they threw 55 times, almost won there. Listen, I think Dak's better. I'm just throwing out that hypothesis, and I want to hear what Nick thought, because honestly, I think it's a possibility because they're crazy. That's the only reason I threw it out there.
What do you think, Nick?
Well, I think if they're 5-2 and Rush is on a rush and he's putting up numbers and he's throwing 3 touchdowns a game and throwing for 350 yards, yeah, that could absolutely happen. If they're 5-2 and they're winning, because the defense is just stepping up like a bunch of caged animals, then that's going to be a hard thing to do. But it's not impossible. I mean, we just went through a list of people that already happened to. I mean, Tom Brady would have never, got his career going if it wasn't for Drew Bledsoe, replacing Drew Bledsoe after Drew Bledsoe was ready to come back and he didn't. So, and they didn't put him in. They kept Brady in there. So I don't know. I mean, it's going to be interesting though, man, because Dallas is on paper with Dak. They have weapons and their defense is good. They have an above average defense that I think Lawrence is a lot better than you're giving him credit for right now, Al. But I mean, the guy is a beast. And obviously the other guy you're talking about is Parsons. And, that guy is just almost unstoppable. Their secondary is good. They're completely beatable, but they are the type of team that has the type of roster. And if they do get into a little bit of a momentum situation, they could bring something to the table that it would be cause for, a little bit of not concern, but, you're just not going to throw your hands up in the air and say, oh, we got this game, no problem. And that's just not going to happen.
I think about this, man. We're talking about breaking the Eagles down, and now we'll talk about AJ Feely
right?
version 2.0.
And let me put his stats out there, like, so everybody knows. He didn't light the world on fire last night. He was 21 for 31 for 219 in the touchdown. But the huge difference was Pollard was 13 for 105, and Elliott was 15 for 73 for a combined 176. That is where they won the game at. And that's where they moved the pick. That one Pollard run was 60 yards, 50 yards, something like that. I mean, that's where they started. That's where they moved the ball, not him. I mean, he did some things, but not.
Wait a minute. Are we forgetting that the 75-yard touchdown was dropped by CeeDee Lamb? That was
he made up for it, though. He did make up.
Yeah, but what I'm saying though is, listen, we can say what we want, but Dak Prescott has not been the same guy since he's come back from injury.
Right.
He's very hesitant. He doesn't want to run, and he's not accurate at all. No. And guess what? 21-31. I'll take that any day of the week. 21-31 is not terrible. It's very, very good. Right? Terrible. So at the end of the day, you have a guy that you can that you can trust to control in that offense that moves the ball. Okay, so yeah, maybe listen, here's what we all forget, right? This is what we all forget. Maybe Dak Prescott's the one who wants to throw the ball 40 times. Right? We all think it's always just to coach. It's just to coach. Like, players don't have freaking egos. Like, that players all of a sudden, when you're the quarterback and you're the leader, you heard them say it on national TV sometimes. Listen, that wasn't the play call. That was the quarterback, right? They have the ability to change things at the line. They have the ability to run or pass differently at the line. Maybe Dak wants to throw all the time. We don't know. All I know, and I think everybody knows, is this looks like a different team with Cooper Rush. And I'm sorry, if they're 5-2, guess what? They're going to. I would be shocked if they don't stick with him.
And they'll just say that Dak's hand is still hurt. He's taking some time. I don't think they would absolutely name Rush the starter over him. I think they would play it week by week. And that's what.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. They'll see, like, okay, when is he coming through? How is he progressing? Right.
Yeah.
Listen, all I know is either way, it's gonna make for some very, very interesting conversation. What's that, Al?
They have Commanders, Rams, then us next 3 weeks.
Yeah, so it won't.
So they're not going 5-2.
Yeah. No shot.
1-2. 1-2.
So that's back. So we're good.
Yeah. So Dave. So we got this. Everybody, we got Dave on the show. And he's doing a whole show with us. But week to week, if he's not on a whole show, he's going to come in and he's going to talk a little NFL, some lines, maybe some, not even just those lines. Could be whether it be some sports betting, whether it be what he's looking at. But Dave, I know it's early, but looking into next week, is there because there's a couple matchups that I kind of have on my radar. Are there any matchups that you're saying, you know what, I'm really looking into this game?
Tony, I'm glad you brought me on this week to talk a little bit about this, because this is the time in the week. We just got done Monday Night Football when lines are really starting to move. And when they move early in the week, a lot of times it is sharp money. And sometimes they'll be careful. It's sharp money trying to move a line to an area that they actually want and then go bet the other side. So we do have to keep our eye on some of these lines. And sometimes it's injury. So just look at Thursday night's game. If I told you the Bengals were -4 against Miami, you say it's crazy, but a lot of that is based upon Tua's injury health and not really the market not knowing if he's going to play or not. So they're trying to settle in the middle like they did with Herbert a little bit. So yeah, I got my eye on a few, and early line movement's a key here. Panthers and Cardinals. The Cardinals opened up as a 3-point favorite going to Carolina. Now they're a 1-point dog, and I just think the market's off on this. Carolina's a very bad team. Now, as bad as Arizona is and as flawed as they are, they still have Kyler Murray, who is probably about 10 times the quarterback Baker Mayfield is. And I would tell you that I like the Cards in this spot, and I would probably play some early line movement on the Cards. One other one I'm looking at too, and you guys might have seen this, is this Houston Chargers game. Houston is 2-0-1 against the spread this year. They're playing pretty well. Almost won that game in Chicago. They've gone from 7-point dogs to now 5.5-point dogs. If this Chargers team doesn't wake up soon, I think we can take advantage of the market with Houston here. They tend to play. Lovie Smith is playing that cover 2, and he's just trying to stay in ball games. He got a better defense in the offseason. I think we could get some value with Houston. So those are 2 I'm looking at early.
I love it, man. I love it, man. Football's here, man. I'm just so excited. It was a great weekend again, another great weekend. Some really exciting games, but it's just a crapshoot every single week, and that's what's been so exciting. And speaking of crapshoot, man, you know, you see along the bottom of the screen, JN Sports Breaks. This is one of our sponsors of the show. And the reason why I talk about lines is, you know, when you talk about lines, you talk about the sports card industry too, which is absolutely booming. And now's the time to start collecting again if you're not collecting anymore, or you want to start. This is the time. No matter the sport, the novelty and the value of the hobby is at an all-time high. And that being said, JN Sports Breaks is a Facebook page where it all comes full circle. I've been in breaks. I've seen other people being in breaks. It's really intriguing. Started by John and Nick, 2 blue-collar guys from the tri-state area. Page creates a fan-friendly atmosphere while giving the collector what they want. Whether you're new to the hobby or a seasoned collector, they have a break for you. Make sure you're following them today. You go to their JN Sports Break on Facebook. It's a Facebook page. Also, they're on the Whatnot app. It's another app, very popular app, at JN Sports Break, all one word. And make sure you're following them because they're giving away free promos, games, and giveaways. And as a bonus, mention this ad and receive $5 off your break today. I'm telling you, the breaks are new and they're exciting, and I'm addicted, man. I am addicted. Yeah, it's very simple, man. You go in there, you pay $10 to $20, $25 depending on the box of cards, and what you do is you pick the 2 teams that you want. And they break open a box live on the screen. And, you know, if you say you have the Texans and the Eagles, any Texans and any Eagles players that come out, you get to keep those cards. They could be rookies, autographs, they could be bonus cards. And they don't break open just like tops. These are like elite boxes. So you want to check them out today. But I got a question for you guys. This is just an off-topic question. We're still going to stick to this for about 32 minutes. Then we're going to end this in about 5 to 7 minutes. But you know, now that I've been kind of immobilized a little bit with the leg, got some good news today. Still got some PT time to start walking normal again and things of that nature. But been, you know, laying around in bed and on the sofa, and besides doing all the other work that I do, I need to give my eyes a break every now and then. So I love music. I'm a big music guy, and I'm a big R&B guy, huge R&B guy. So let me ask you guys something, because I'm going through YouTube and I like watching live medley performances. It's like my favorite. Like I can't wait for the hip hop awards that come up on October 9th with Fat Joe, because I just love they're doing a 30th anniversary for Loud Records, where like every single performer that's been on Loud, whether it's Lil' Kim, whether it be Wu-Tang, they're all going to perform. I love those things. And speaking of performances, I come across some R. Kelly. Now, no, and I need to really ask this, because listen, before anybody says anything, this is no judgment zone here. I'm just asking an honest question, because before all the stuff came out about R. Kelly, okay, you know, not the person, but the artist, the one guy I should just say one artist that you could grab a mic to, and he would sound the same as he sounded on a CD, the same as he sounded in a studio, live, not a crack, nothing. And I'm going back and I'm listening to R. Kelly, like he popped up, and I'm watching the Light 'Em Up tour, and I'm watching, I'm thinking like, and I'm singing to myself, right? I'm really getting into it. I'm jamming in bed. I'm like, yeah, but I'm like, man, am I wrong? Like because what he did was so ridiculous, but at the same time, I still love the music. Like, I'm just asking you guys as friends, honestly, like Dave, I'll throw you first. We'll go right to Shay. But am I wrong for wanting to listen to this, even though he was such a bad guy, but I still like the music? Like, is that allowed?
It's absolutely 1000% allowed. I used to rock him, Jodeci, you know, all the time. And when it comes on the radio again, I still blare it. I just gotta laugh because the first thing that comes to my mind isn't his music anymore.
I know
stuff, but it
sucks.
But I still love the music, and it's okay to rock it, and it's okay to scream it. I'm good with it.
All right, I just wanted to make sure. I was like, Nick, what do you got, man? It's like, am I okay to do this?
Bro, you're out of my stratosphere with R. Kelly. And so you know my musical diversification spans decades and decades of time and all kinds of genres of music. But I'm with Dave. Like, I think about Deshaun Watson when I think about R. Kelly. Like, that's the first thing that comes to mind with me.
I know.
So that's what I do know about him. I listen. I mean, I know some of his stuff, and it's very easy to just sing along with his stuff. I mean, at least you went that, and you didn't go like Katy Perry or something like that. That would have been a little awkward if you're singing around to like California Girls or something. But
I mean, look, I like hearing Roar more than anybody, but I'm not going around with the sun top down blaring it. But at the same time, I mean, like, it's just because I think about Al, like you get in this groove, right? But then he was such a bad guy, and I like sometimes I feel guilty. I'm like, damn, man, like, am I wrong? Like, I can't help it though, right?
Nah, he's a scumbag, but he's a genius scumbag. Like, this dude made so many hits, made so many people rich.
Did make a lot of
he
hits.
Wrote so many songs for people. He would be one of the greatest of all time if he wasn't a scumbag. But I'm still listening to his music. My wife, she was a big fan. She's done. She
caught them all. See, that's what I'm asking.
She won't even let me play stuff in the car if we're in the car together. She's like, no, cut that off. I love him. I still love all his music. I would still listen to it, but everybody knows it. It is what it is, man. A quick little thing. I heard something on the internet. My wife showed me the other day. He was in jail, still singing. And he sounds exactly like he sounded when he was in his prime. That's when you know you're one of the greats. He's in jail and he can still pop it. He sung something and for like 10 seconds and you knew that's legit. You know how some people aren't legit? Yep. No mic, no hitting stuff in behind him and none of that. He did acapella and he sound like he sound 20 years ago. So he's just a piece of crap. Genius, unfortunately.
There's it's crazy because there's a video and it's only about 5 minutes long, maybe 7 minutes. And he sings I'm a Flirt, and he sings I forget what the other one he sings, but he's in the Sirius XM studio, like just a live radio show, no instruments, no nothing, just breaks out a microphone. And I swear, I'm just like, if you closed your eyes, you would think you're listening to a CD. Yeah. It's like, and this dude's got no auto tune. He's got nothing. It's just how good he is. It's impressive.
Tone is actually sad. It's sad.
It is.
You should not have this much talent in your body and can do so many things, and you're wasting it. You didn't die tragically. You just gave your life away because you chose to do other things. It's very sad.
Yeah, it is. It is. So let's go from sad to happy. Let's end this on some Eagles picks right here. Going through. Let's have some fun, right? I know we're a few days away, but that's okay. We got the God himself, Dougie P, the Bible swirling master, coming in here, right? Coming back to the territory. Dave, we'll go with you first, man. Let me hear what you got for this game.
So one of the first things I look at is the total looks pretty high for this game, 48. So there's some expected point value going into this, and I do think we are going to see. We hit the under in the last two games of the Eagles. Now I think this one's going to script a little bit more like Detroit did. I do see the Eagles putting up points. I do see Jacksonville having a little fight in them too as well. So I'm going to go Eagles 30, Jacksonville 20, and I will just throw one caveat out there: be careful with the weather. There's Hurricane, Ian coming up from Florida.
It's a nasty weekend.
Yeah, could come through here. Saturday, Sunday-ish. That changes things. If we're in a rainstorm, we're 60 degrees. They do not have an efficient running game. I know they still got James Robinson, but ETN looks like, JV Reggie Bush. He just doesn't even want to get hit. So if it turns into a rain slop game, I think we could open this up. But if it's a nice sunny day, I'll say it's a tighter game. We pull away late 30-20.
I like it. And from what I understand, because I was looking at it from a soccer standpoint, because my games are on Sunday, and it looks like right now they're already telling me don't plan on playing this weekend, because Saturday it's because Saturday is going to be a complete wash, like 1 to 3 inches of rain. It looks like Sunday's more like the cleanup showers here or there. So, but it's a good point. Nick, what we got, man?
Oh, Tony, I tell you, man, these home games, and when the crowd is really, really into it out of the gate, it is a game changer. I mean, people talk about the Philadelphia fan base and the home games and how loud we are and how passionate we are. But, I'm hoping that the rain holds off, because I'm supposed to go down to this game as well. I think I'm on the other side of you, Dave. I think they open it up and blow it out early. I think the defense really steps up, even maybe scores a touchdown in the first or second quarter, or makes some kind of a big play that puts them up. Maybe, a touchdown and a half is about 14, 17 points. And then I think maybe you see a little bit of a comeback in the end of the third quarter or early fourth quarter, which will tighten the game up a little bit. But I think they walk away with a win here, a solid win. I'm going to go 34-24.
34-24. I like it. I'm a little around where you are, Nick. Al, what we got?
I do think they're going to score a little. I would say 29-17. You're gonna be a little annoyed. Maybe we won't get a couple of times, which we need to work on that. I know he wants to try to get the closeout, but I think we should start taking these points. And he's done it now 2 weeks in a row, and we haven't got that that fourth down, and we could have had points. So I think I think in this game we're going to probably have 2 to 3 field goals in this game. So I'm calling 29-17.
29-17. Now, I'm going to take everything all you guys said. I'm putting it in a bowl, and I'm coming out with this is going to be a bloodbath, in my opinion. Nick hit it right on the head. When everybody's in that stadium and it is rocking, I know Seattle gets the 12th man. I know in Mile High it's hard to hear. I know in the Black Hole it's hard to hear. But I'll tell you what, man, when you have a young quarterback, as much as Trevor Lawrence could be grounded, I understand, but you can get rattled very easily. And I think what I saw, 9 sacks, what I saw was an extra step in BG last week, which I didn't think he had left in him. What I saw was Hassan Reddick finally playing the position he was brought in here to play. Okay, so I see this as a 38-10 win. I say, you know what? They'll get 1 touchdown. I think it'll be late, but I think the Eagles start early. They score often. Okay, I'm looking at like literally. I'm going to look at like a 21-3 halftime lead, and then they go in and they do that second half that we expect them to do, and they just blow it out. I'm going 38-10.
You know what's fun?
I really
love it. You know what's funny about that? Do you know what Jacksonville won last week?
No.
20.
Did they win 38-10? Oh my God! Check that out. Who would have thought?
So let's return the favor.
Right.
I love
Exactly. Let's return the favor, man. I like it. Well, listen, man. Everybody just joining in. We appreciate it. Give us a follow at Heat Ratio Sports. Make sure you're following the YouTube page at Heat Ratio Sports. The Heat Ratio Sports Live. This show we got 4th and Go going. We go tomorrow night, Dave.
Yeah, we're going tomorrow night, 9:30.
You got Dave and Mark hitting that up. The final judgment here on Thursday. We get the Fantasy Firebox on Saturday morning with me in Pittsburgh. John joining me from Pittsburgh on location last week. He'll be back in Philly this week. So, but as always, man, everybody just listen. This the crazy world. Shout out, I don't want to say shout out, but thoughts and prayers. Number one, go out to people in Florida that are going to be, Hurricane Ian. I know a couple people out there. Hopefully everybody stays safe out there. And just words and prayers. There was a big shooting tonight in Roxborough where another 14-year-old high school kid gets shot. got killed. 2 other kids, man. Like,
Ridiculous.
I don't know what the hell is going on in the city of Philadelphia.
Ridiculous.
But just a bunch of senseless bullshit, man. That
It's my hometown.
It's not. I mean, these kids are just playing football, man. They're coming off the field. I mean, it's like lock your kids in the house and don't let them out. I mean, I don't. It's just it's crazy right now. It is. Yeah, something's got to change. So everybody, man. On that note, everybody just be safe, be healthy, and we'll catch you back here next time.